Previously on the Coastal Queen restoration.
Morning comes, usually 5:30. I get up, I brush my teeth, go over to McMillen and talk with Dan for a little bit, and then I get to work, usually 8 or 10 hours over at McMillen. I'll leave McMillen at about 5 or 6, and I'll go over to Coronet until, usually till about 10 o'clock. I like that I'm working with the boat all day. I'm not working with people all day. Because, some people are nice and some are not. Boats are always nice. When I'm not at Coronet, I've been going over to Somerset. They have Eagle is over there. This is a 1956. It's a 50s Trumpy. Last year, Keith and we did the worm shoe on it because this is a boat that goes down to Florida, does the Bahamas every now and then. But you can see, the scale of boats like this is, I think it's a 65 foot. But they have huge engines in them. Take a look at these pipes. I could fit my head in this pipe almost, So I'm pretty sure this boat was built in 1956, which would just put it a couple years before Coastal Queen was redesigned. And, it's been how many years? It's been 50-something years, 60-something years. My company, we're all over the place. We usually go to where the boat is, and working at McMillen has been great. These guys brought me in because, they have their crew and they're in-house people, but they have such a huge fleet that they work on that they needed a crew that could work on this boat full-time and keep the momentum going, and I believe we've been able to do that.
See how it extends up there. How far do we take the router?
I don't know what the hell we're going to do with the 8.5 inch wide. Yeah.
Right.
So what we did on the chine log here, we had a whole episode basically about the chine log, but on the outside of the chine log, which is about here, we put an oak plank because when this boat goes in and out of the water, they're going to put a strap on it, and it's going to be, all the pressure of the boat is going to be on that strap on this corner. So we used the stronger material. We used an oak plank instead of fir. But we also did the lap down here, so that's going to be glued and indexed into all the cold molded planking that's going up the side. Everything around this is going to be rabbeted and indexed and glued, and it's going to be one solid piece right up to the old planking you can see here. And that's even rabbeted down 1.5 inches or so. So it's all glued together, and that's going to really help reinforce this whole corner. We're doing it on both sides, not so much on the other side. There was a lot more compromised planks over here.
So we added all of this extra blocking in between the frame ends outboard at the chines to help reinforce the chine so that the boat can be picked up by a travel lift.
One of our goals in adding all this additional strength to the boat is we would like to have the boat be able to be hauled with a traditional travel lift with straps, rather than having to either use a cradle, which is specific to us, or a railway, which is not something that exists as often these days as it used to. Being able to haul with a travel lift opens the options to, if there needs to be an emergency haul out or even for maintenance when the boat departs us and when the boat is out being used throughout the years.
it's launch day. We're just waiting for the tide to come up a little bit more, and the crane's gonna make its way in here. We're gonna pick up the gantry, and hopefully there's no twists and any of the cables or any of the shackles or anything like that have to be redone in front of 1,000 people watching, and you know, tie it into the straps. And I mean, it should be fairly simple, but you know, simple is not always easy. Just waiting for the tide to come up, and the barge is going to come in with the crane. Hopefully everything goes off without a hitch. The boat is 156 tons. The gantry itself is 60,000 pounds. It's a 1,000-ton crane, but it's going to be extended quite a bit. So I think we still have like 100 tons of wiggle room on the capacity. Originally, Mystic called me because they know I'm up here, I'm in the area. They know I do a good job on the caulking. So, you know, I did Amistad when I was down there a few years back. That was my first, actually, my first big project by myself was Amistad caulking. What we did with Coronet was we did the traditional cotton and oakum caulking. But when it came to sealing the seam after that, Mystic let me have a little leeway. Usually they'll do, you know, thinned primer with seam compound, which is the traditional method. I used the Yacht method, which is we did a 545 epoxy primer, and then we did a rubber over the top of that to seal up the seam, which I think, I mean, sometimes they go together really well, and I know that combination works really well. The process is going to entail the crane is going to come in and he's going to tag into those the two main cables there, which is going to lift that main spreader bar. From there, there's 4 cables that come down into the 2 medium-sized bars there, which are going to go athwartships, you know, across the boat. And then from there, 4 cables come down to those 4 little bars, which are going to eventually be tied into those straps on the boat. This boat was done really well. The guys who did this, the guys who put the hull together, it's like they did work that, you know, that's the kind of work you do if you don't have a budget and you don't have a deadline. Right. It's just beautiful work. Usually I'll get up in the morning and I don't stop moving till 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes it's like a little mini vacation driving from McMillen down to Coronet. You know, it's just, I get 30 minutes of peace in the truck where I don't have to do anything. I can just listen to my book on tape or some music or something. To find someone with the passion I have for this, or even part of the passion I have for this, would be really wonderful. You know, I mean, I would partner with somebody like that, you know. But everybody's got, you know, a side thing going on. This is all I do, you know, and it's why I'm lonely. You know, I work too much, but trying to find somebody else who's willing to learn, willing to, you know, it's probably unhealthy to say willing to sacrifice everything for this, which, you know, pretty much I have done.